All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to be going inside every cinematographer's dream. It is shooting in the world's tiniest bathroom. Let's go. Okay, we jump in. You remember on this job, we've broken down a few of these scenarios. I think we had, 6 or 7 setups in a day, and we got to be moving pretty fast. This crew is pretty small. We've got a generator, but we don't have any of the big lights. I think we've got a 4K, some M80s, M18s, and I think that's about it, okay? This is the look that the gaffer gave me once they saw the kind of equipment that we were going to be using, and we're going to be shooting in this location, okay? We've got a bathroom. We've got, let's see, one window here. There's another window behind this wall over here, so that's 2 windows to the outside, which, lucky for us, the outside is flat. There's no fences that are right up on it. There's nothing outside that is going to prevent us from getting the shots that we want inside. Then we've got this shower behind, and this is the doorway here that you go in. There are no doors on it, and that might be important later on. It might not. But in terms of bathrooms, also, what do we have here? We have a little door to the actual toilet that is in there, in one of those little tiny rooms, and there's also a window back there. Okay, so you'll remember on this job, luckily for us, we have got fantastic references from the directors. And this is the style of shot that they would like, okay? Lady, she's going to be looking in the mirror, and then she looks into the camera. We also see that she is pregnant, so she's going to hold out a little pregnancy test. So we have to get an over of that as well. So insert, looking at camera, and the wider version to let us see where all the action is playing out. Not terribly complicated, but again, we have to manage our day properly. We know that we had a big setup early on when we were looking in, what was it, the last videos? We're looking at this daytime stuff, right? And this was our biggest setup, getting this look in this kitchen space. And so once that's completed and we're all happy and everybody's feeling good, it's like, okay, can we send Grip and Lighting ahead to come up with a plan, or not to come up with a plan, to execute the plan that we came up with in the pre-production to tackle this location. Now, immediately, you've seen the reference. That's exactly what we're going for. It's not like, well, we're trying for something different. No, we need a wide shot of the lady in here. She's holding up the pregnancy test, looking in the mirror just here. We've got a few different options. You'll remember we're also playing this full frame. So this is 4x3, the framing that we are going for, which might be different. If you were doing anamorphic, maybe you could use up here a little bit better. But with the frame size that we are choosing, we're not going to be able to do that. So what am I thinking when I first come into the space? I'm thinking this is good. Like, pros of this space is that we can get really far back here because this is a bedroom behind us. So we're not really limited in terms of lens sizes. Often in a bathroom, like if this was a wall and we had to shoot from over here, it's like, well, we can only go back so far. So that means we need to use a very wide lens, which can sometimes get a little bit freaky. Maybe we don't want a little bit freaky. Maybe we just want normal. So maybe we don't want wide lenses. Good thing about this is there's this big giant gap and lots of room back here. So we can come back on the lens and make it slightly flatter. Now you'll remember in the reference also, we sort of see these door frames a little bit in the reference to kind of like a frame within a frame, which is always an easy cheat. You couple a frame within a frame with a mirror, and now we've got depth for days for doing almost nothing, right? Like that's like free depth. But the question is, do we want to embrace that or not? I'll tell you right when I come in here, I'm thinking we want to embrace as much depth as possible. Why? Because this is not the most beautiful bathroom, right? In terms of production design, it's white walls, it's white sink, it's sort of bluey white tiles. There's not a lot of dark wood tones or dark tiles or interesting tiles that are going to help us out here. And also another thing to remember is we're shooting this for sort of quasi, either super early morning or late afternoon. We're not going for daytime in here because we're shooting a lot of other day in the ad and we're trying to mix it up. We're trying to get a little bit funky. That's what we do. So first things first is I would say, okay, can we tint out here, right? Not tint. Tint is color. Tent is erecting a tent outside this window. Why is the pen so big? So that we can light up these windows. Why is it so small? So that we can light up these windows to just the level that we want them. So we need to construct a tent around the outside. And then we can just use, then we're not, the amount of ambient is not dictated to us. I don't want to be dictated to. I want to do the dictating, right? I want to be the one in charge. So can we build a tent? The answer comes back, yes, we can build a tent. Okay, so now how many tents do I need? I need one for this window. I need one for this window, which is behind this wall. And then I need another for this window inside this toilet room, okay? So inside where the actual bathroom is, we need another tint in there. Or maybe we can use one tint for both of those windows. That's not my problem. I just ask, can we tint the things? And then the grip will decide, well, do we need 2 tints out there? Maybe we don't. I don't care. We're going to have the lady placed just here. And then we're going to have to come up with a lighting solution for what are we going to do over the top. Okay, you can use a wall buster, right? If the wall can support it, maybe we could, first thoughts when you come in here is maybe we could use a wall buster across the top here. Maybe that would be interesting. And maybe we could hang, you know, like a couple of Titan tubes down here, and that will give us level on our lady standing here. First thought. Okay, wall busters, kind of a nightmare. Maybe aren't going to work. Maybe behind this wall, we can put a stand and have it up against the wall and then arm out a Titan tube. We're not going to need much level. And why aren't we going to need much level? Because we blacked out these windows. Okay, so that sets the ambient. So now we are in control of every single light. We are in control. So we can set our levels to whatever. We can be working at 2 foot candles. It doesn't actually matter to us. What matters is then the ratios. So first thought, this door is going to have to be open. We're going to want to place something through that outside window. We're going to want the lady fairly close to the mirror because we're going to have to sell it for the reverse shot. And we're probably going to want to black out these windows that are actually in the bedroom back here. Let's black those out as well. Like we don't need ambient in the space, but let's just black them out. That's the thought. And then here, we just need to get this Titan tube, that side of the line, right? Imagine that there is a line running down this lady, right? There's a line running down her face. We want to be on this side of the line, which means I need the Titan tube coming at the camera for that little bit of back edge. Okay, can we pull it off? That's the question. So notes to the gaffer as we're going through, like what is going to be possible? Tent and tube out the windows, tube inside, and then something for ambient, either in the roof up here for the background of the mirror, or like a tube that we can use on the ground. Okay, that's pretty much the brief. And then let's see where we actually got to on the day. Oh, also haze. Come on. We're shooting in a bathroom, got to be haze. It would have been way cooler if we could have had like steam up here. We tried a few different steam options around the mirror, but it didn't actually work. So here you can see our window now in the shot. You can see we're pointing down. Why are we pointing down? Because you'll remember, just above the frame here are these things. And we didn't want those actually on because they look like hot garbage. So we wanted our own light. So that meant that we couldn't see these in the frame, or else we would see that they're not on and yet the light is coming from somewhere. So then we had to just raise the camera up super high, point down more. As we point down more, that makes it easier to get in our light over the top because there wasn't really any other way to do that. Now remember, these are just straight out of the camera, ungraded stills. So I'm going hog wild with the color temperature. I'm also like not windowing anything and bringing up selective levels. But if I'm looking right now, you can sort of see the tint out there. And we decided to run the tube up the windows to give us like a little bit of, not like a city feel, but just something different. Because if it's just all illuminated, it gets flat. And we're fighting flatness. And you're like, well, why is half of it dark? Nobody cares. It looks slightly more interesting. Plus, I'm standing there on set with nothing to do. All I'm doing is looking at the monitor going, could we do this? And then the people that are actually working say, yeah, we could do that. And then they go and do it. And then I say, oh, actually it looks better like that, I think. So then we leave it. Okay, so we've got our light over the top, which is giving us kind of, I mean, if we look at her face, it's pretty flat, right? It's not too directional. The only thing that we do get is you don't want this light. See this light on their shoulder? We definitely don't want it coming around anymore. Like we don't want to be filling in any of this. So that was the main takeaway here. I would say we're probably too hot on this door. In the grade, I would take that down. But that door is this door over here. Remember, we're pumping level back into that room. And that little bit of open door just, again, creates a little bit of depth. We've got our windows out there that are getting tubed up and tube over the top. Add in a bunch of haze. We've also blacked out inside of the room behind the camera to kill any ambient that's coming back this way. And that's our look. Now, again, it's not too much, there's not too much shape on the face. That's because the tube is too far away in this wide to give it that much shape. Does that mean we're going to leave it like that for the next few shots? Absolutely not. No, we're going to change things completely. From there, what's the next shot we did? I think we went straight in to the overshot because there's not really much to do here, right? We're lighting from upstage here. This is the credit card shot. Maybe we don't even have to bring in any neg. It depends on how much fill we're getting from this sink. And that results in this shot here. You can see, holy Lord, we brought the tube a little bit closer and a little bit more around this way, just so we could get a little bit more level on the test itself. So if I was going to say, oh, we like this level in terms of lighting for the grade, you would want to, I mean, first of all, I want to window her and get rid of like, there's like an orange cast or something, like a yellow cast on her inside, especially on the mirror. Like you see her skin tones there versus here. I'd want to clean that up, and I'd also lift her, right? Like I don't mind, this all ambient is good. I might window that down, but I want to lift her face up quite a bit just to make her pop out of the background, which sort of matches this amount of pop on this light. So we got the pregnancy test, and then finally it's her looking in the mirror. Like this is super easy. We didn't do anything. We just brought in the tube over the top, and we're setting this key light to the ambient in the background, right? All of this ambient in the background. That's how we are able to move quickly. Is you're like, don't touch the ambient, only use the tube. And because the ambient is so low, because we played the thing tinted, now we're laughing. Okay, now we come into the mirror shot, and you'll remember from our references, the original plan, because she's just looking straight down the camera. We did a bunch of these during the ad. So it's like, can we make this one any different? Well, why don't we use the mirror? So instead of, original plan was going to be camera looking this way, her facing this way, like back to the mirror, okay? But then we decided, well, wouldn't it be cooler if she was facing this way and the camera was over here shooting into the mirror and getting her in straight down the lens that way? You'll notice one small problem, right? The small problem is the big camera over here. Now we could have made this thing slightly smaller. You know, you remove the matte box, you take off the viewfinder, you move my monitor as well. We could have made it a little bit smaller, but we're going to garbage matte this thing anyway. Like she's going to get cut out. This thing is an easy VFX. And I also like this, like the little blob of light. Now what you'll see is we tried to fix this on the day. What you see is no eye light, right? If she just lifts her chin just a tiny bit, which I think she ends up doing when she does the take, you'll get a little eye light in there. And that eye light is coming from the tube that is up here. Now, things that we changed for this shot, as opposed to here, is we brought this tube much further around. Like, see how flat it is on her face there? Like it's coming, it would reach around to this other side if we would have left the tube there. But I like a little bit of contrast on the face. So what do? We just move the light around. And again, what are we setting the key light here to? These values, where you see it most exposed, that value is set to the background because it's just a single tube. Super fast, super efficient, doesn't require a whole lot of crew. Meanwhile, everyone else can be setting for the next shot, okay? Because here, once you set this, I need one person in lighting and not even a grip, okay? Maybe a grip to move the dolly. I think we did a dolly shot in here, but that's about it. Everybody else can be moving on. And what are they moving on to? They're moving on to the biggest setup of the day. Well, the second biggest setup, really. That's the bathroom. You get in, decide, okay, we're going to do something funky with the color temperature. Yes, we can always change it later. You can't change it later if you're working with a terrible camera that is 8-bit. You can if you're shooting on an Alexa. And you can do anything you want with the color because it's super, super stretchy. And doesn't matter if you're shooting in RAW. Doesn't matter. Can you get a commercial to shoot in RAW? Maybe. Not one that I've ever worked on. But even if it's ProRes, you can massage this thing until the cows come home. Okay, that's our look at the bathroom. Was it groundbreaking? I don't think so. But what is important is, can we do it very quickly? Can we just walk into the space? And this is already 90% there. Like we take her and we move her around a little bit. Maybe we adjust the placement of the key. Maybe we adjust the levels on the tubes in the background, or these little tiny 1% difference things. But really, if we've done our prep process correct and we've communicated with everyone around us correctly and we've taken the references from the directors and gone, okay, I can make this a reality. Here's how we're going to do it. You walk in, bang, you're done. You're thinking about lunchtime. You're thinking about sucking down a couple of brewskis at lunch, just living the life. Okay, that's going to do it for this one. Many thanks. We'll see you in the next one.